Thanks so much for joining me back again as we get to go through one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I do love sharing them with you. In the description, you can follow me on social media. I just post my artwork. That's about it. I don't really comment on anything. Real quick, though, on Pinterest, I actually not just post my own artwork, but I got some pins from Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, Mike Mignola, Walt Simonson. So some of my most favorite um, artists out there. So check that out if you'd like, if you're into Pinterest and all that kind of stuff. So today we're gonna look at Classic X-Men from 1986. We're gonna look at Classic X-Men number 4. First, we start off with this great cover by Arthur Adams. I bought this right off the rack when I was young. I had just gotten into the X-Men not too long when this came out. I was in middle school and I had a friend, by the way, Arthur Adams is the penciler, but P. Craig Russell here is the inkier of this cover, and I like how they put it in the back of this little demon thing. So I was not into the X-Men growing up, but a buddy of mine in middle school just loved the X-Men. I was into comic books, so um, I was like, well, sure. So he gave me a couple of issues of his, and I just fell in love. And this was during the Marvel 25th anniversary, so ended up getting like X-Men, the Mutant Massacre, basically. So that was kind of my introduction. So when Classic X-Men came out, I started snatching them up. So this is the cover to what is in here. It's X-Men 96, and that's what's included in here. So what I like about Classic X-Men is there's background versus in the original, there's this has additional pages and additional dialogue. It's a more updated version. I decided to just go back and do this, and we're going to do the entire run of Chris Claremont all the way to when John Byrne leaves. So we'll be doing X-Men for a while. Um, Here we have our table of contents. Chris Claremont wrote the entire thing, including the supplementary material. John Bolton does the additional story. And then Dave Cockrum was still alive during this time. He passed away from diabetes, but Dave Cockrum also did the supplemental pages that were added to this. And we have a great frontispiece here by Arthur Adams and P. Craig Russell. So, all right, so here we go. Thunderbird has passed, and Cyclops is trying to cope with it. So he goes for a walk. Why he goes walking in his costume, I don't know. Regardless, it's comic books. We won't overthink it. And he's remembering, that he passed away, refused to get off the airplane, and he's feeling guilty because he was in charge. So discharges his optic, just going crazy, and he ends up hitting this thing. Now, the creatures in this issue, I don't believe ever showed up again on X-Men. So this is kind of like a once, or I don't know, maybe it did through Inferno, but I don't remember these demons here or this particular thing. So Cyclops breaks this thing, and he created a whole mess. I guess he's not even paying attention to that thing. He again is feeling guilty that Thunderbird died, and here's like some kind of energy thing. I think this is meant for the reader because there's no way he would not have noticed. I think this is just a visual clue for the reader that something's up with this thing. So the X-Men are now in the danger room practicing. This Wolverine's a little bit different personality than the Wolverine that we're used to. He's a little bit meaner, a little bit more of a jerk. So Nightcrawler laughs at him. He doesn't like it, so he goes to get, kill him. Which Banshee says, "Hey, you could have killed him." He says, "Yep, I know." So, yeah, this Wolverine during the early days just had a quick temper. And like I say, he was a bit of a jerk. So the X-Men continues, and Professor X is talking to Banshee about Cyclops and how he's concerned. And he hears the doorbell and talks about the new housekeeper. Um, so he goes and sends Banshee to answer the door. He hears the name. He goes, "She must be an 80-year-old lady." And then he opens the door, and of course, it's a younger person. So, in the original series, there was no allusion to Moira McTaggart. This was initially her first appearance, but as we know, and if you followed, I have done classic X-Men's 1 through 3 already, so feel free to check them out. In the video. So he gave a bit of more of a background on how that she was called in and all that. That's why I like classic X-Men. So now we go here to I forgot the name of this dude here. I'll find it here. Oh, it's Stephen Lang, Dr. Stephen Lang. He's pretty much working on a project here that's going to remain. Won't try to spoil the surprise, but these are comic books that are almost 50 years old. So, but this guy here is a colonel who wants he's there to give them a report before they approve this project. So, and this is about the destruction of mutants, and it's called Project Armageddon. So, for some reason, people did not like mutants. People that had powers was okay, but people born with powers, ooh, So, but it was the X-Men was Stan Lee and Jack Kirby's way of doing the civil rights with black people. So the X-Men represented that. So it just got exaggerated into more. So the Colonel anyway does not want to do it, and says that the project is over, and as soon as he's back in Washington. So, and Stephen Lang doesn't like that, and you can already tell that by this here, you probably already know what's up. So, all right, so this is a new page. 2 new pages actually, this one and the next one, in which Nightcrawler appears and then goes in there and then sees something. I love the eyes. And then everybody else is gonna go out, and they're like, go back inside. And Storm, of course, is naked because hey, and they're like, why is everybody staring? So Colossus gives her his shirt, and Professor X says, a little bit more discretion, meaning don't be walking around naked. So, and Moira McTaggart and Professor X talk for a little bit here. This these new supplemental materials are just great. They just add so much more. I recommend, if you have the originals, that's great. But if you can pick up the classic X Men, um, between 1 through 25 at least, it really gives you some really cool background on stuff. So McTaggart basically is asking, why did he call her and what does he need? So in the original, it went from the Lang and that foot all the way to here. So those 2 pages, like I said, were not included. So we're at night now, and so some time has passed, and Professor X is introducing Moira McTaggart to all the X Men. He's going to be taking a vacation, and she's basically there to look after the X Men. Look at Wolverine just playing tic tac toe on the coffee table. So Professor X just basically says everybody needs a vacation, and this is mine. And Banshee's very smitten with her. He's Irish and she's Scottish. So when you see her like this, it's more of a way to for how she speaks. It's not necessary, meaning kind of like how Scottish would sort of talk. But yeah, so anyway, Banshee is asking her out on a date, and while they talk, Professor X asks about Cyclops, which of course, right on cue, boom, or rather, instead of boom, a zram. So here comes Cyclops. The X Men help him up. They're like, "It's right behind me," and um, Wolverine. I don't know. Sometimes when people, I don't understand certain artistic choices, like this black blotch right here. I don't get it. There's a lot of stuff when people are um drawing. There's certain marks that they make that sometimes I don't quite get it. I get this. I get why this is black. You know, foreground, background. So I get that. Covered up and all that kind of stuff. But these blotches here, like, why did he put that there? I don't know. Anyway, um, Cyclops let loose a demon named Kirok, and I am pretty sure this dude has never appeared again. So, um, even during Inferno, I just the main demon was somebody else. It wasn't this Kirok. So, anyway, here come the X-Men. They're gonna fight the demon. So there's just a bit of a fight. Not much happens. Not much in the event of a dialogue. Just your typical superhero scrap. And Professor X is going to. They thought they killed him. He comes back, and Professor X is gonna use his mental. I look at Wolverine's eyes like he's frustrated. That's kind of cool. And he's gonna look inside using his mind, and he screams in pain from what he sees in there. And they said that. So sorry, real quick, she comes through from the armory, which is to me hilarious. The X-Men have an armory, and she comes in with a I don't know what kind of a weapon this is, but it's funny that the X-Men have an armory. And Banshee helps her out. So they need to fix that rock, that um Cyclops broke with his a Karn? I don't know. But Charles Xavier sent Storm. So she goes out, and all these other demons are basically trying to stop her. So, like I said, they're trying to stop her, and there's like an energy beam coming from it. And so she remembers um, her past. And as you can see, they're trying to um, stop her. And this is the reason she's claustrophobic and uses her powers like with a big, massive bolt of lightning to destroy it. And then the demon just dies. And they wondered, if he'll come back. It looks like they once ruled the world and want to rule it again, and hope that this is the last they see. And then we have a one panel epilogue, and where the colonel was, who was going to stop the mission, everyone died from the crash. And so this concludes the issue. However, because it is classic X-Men, there is a backup story. It's called The Big Dare. Chris Claremont added. This is drawn by John Bolton, by the way. And Claremont added these backups just to give it a little bit more filler, a little bit more of a background. And here Wolverine and Nightcrawler are sort of playing catch. So this is gonna be one where it's pretty cool. You'll see here in a minute. I'm gonna try not to give it away here, but so Wolverine won a bet, and so they're gonna go have a drink in town. Well, Nightcrawler was gonna go get it, and so he uses his image inducer that was from Stark, from Tony Stark, and used it to create, like a way so he could go out in public. And Wolverine says, "Are you ashamed?" And he says, "No, I'm just being practical. Doesn't want to terrorize the people." So he goes out and chooses this image here, and they're kind of just talking about him growing up and in the circus. And he eventually asks Nightcrawler to prove that he's not embarrassed to be who he is. So he turns off the image inducer. Now look at this, Bill Sienkiewicz was here. It's kind of cool. And so he turns it off, and the guy didn't do anything when he sees him. And like this lady, that man's face, he has a tail, and this guy's like, "Oh yeah, and handsome too." So he's going around talking in or walking in public, just people staring, Wolverine smiling. So and Star Wars in the background. Nobody's being mean or anything, but of course it wouldn't be a good story if we didn't have any conflict. So this guy here was like thought he was wearing a mask. Turns out it's real. And Wolverine's not gonna take it, and then takes off his claws. Nightcrawler stops him, and they teleport. And he says, it's not worth it to. He's at the top of the building, so a little bit of perspective this, but they're at the top of the building, and basically he thanked them for doing what he did and going into town, and then in a handshake. And the next time we're gonna have a Colossus short story, and then here's the back cover. So hope you liked it. Classic X-Men number 4. Like and subscribe. Thanks for listening.